Paper Mario came out.
It did.
They made a new Paper Mario game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ben, I know you've been playing a bunch of it.
I have been.
Is it any good?
Paper Mario, the Origami King is exactly the video game I needed in my life right now.
All right. I was a little nervous asking that question because the last, 3 of those have been kind of a bummer.
Yeah. I loved those first two, the original and Thousand Year Door. I know a lot of people are into Super Paper Mario. I never played that one. But this game is just a pure delight. Like, it's fun, it's funny, it's breezy and light, but it's still challenging, but not unforgiving or extra punishing. I was a little, I had my doubts going into this game because they were very upfront about the battle system is not like the old ones. It's not just a straight up RPG with stats and all that. It's more of a active puzzle system where imagine a dartboard. You can either rotate rings around or slide the columns up and down to kind of position enemies into patterns. And you basically have 2 patterns. You can either get them all in a straight line or you can get them all clumped up in a little 4 squat where you would hit them with your hammer. And when I first started playing it, it is very, and a lot of the Game Boy and DS Mario and Luigi games were like this. It is very hand-holdy at the start. Mm-hmm. They teach you all the mechanics twice. They really kind of turn by turn make you play out these battles, even though you know the solution ahead of time. And I was kind of worried, is this going to be just very simple? But I'm on the second major area, I would say. There's kind of the basic plot is, an evil enemy has taken over the Mushroom Kingdom, turning everyone into origami pieces, and there's these streamers kind of going all around the world, and you have to track down the origins of these streamers and destroy them so you can get back into the castle.
I think my brain is broken because I thought they were game streamers, Twitch streamers, right. Just scattered around the world. Oh, that's okay. All right.
Yeah, they got
track down.
Yeah, they got logic for this game. He's doing a game for sure. Is it? I don't know if I want to use the word shallow, but when you talk about a puzzle-driven battle system, it immediately makes me worry that there's going to kind of not be a lot of
their paper, of course, they're shallow.
It's fair.
No, and so I'm in that second world right now. Basically, so the battle system works that way where you're trying to line them all up, and if you don't line them all up, you can still attack. But if you do line them all up, you're getting bonuses to damage, and so it's kind of the thing where every battle has a solution. Every battle has an exact number, so you have it'll give you between 1 and 3 so far moves you can pull each turn. So it's okay, I'm going to slide these guys here, rotate these guys over here, and then slide these guys here. And all 8 of the enemies have been lined up. I can kill them all in 2 attacks. But if you don't, it's on a timer, right? So you have to kind of act fast. And there are ways to mitigate that timer, which I'll get into with the coins. The way they use coins in this game is really great. But you can add to that timer. You can, there are items that'll help you slow down the timer. You can get hints. The game is very generous with the hint system and stuff like that. Both in battle and out of battle, you can kind of hit X at any time to get a hint of where the next place you want to go is. But back to the depth of it. I've kind of hit the point where I'm no longer. I say for the first 5 hours, I was solving every battle without taking damage. I was just easily kind of breezing through it. And then after the first boss encounter, it really started to ratchet up. We have a quick look processing right now. Vinny and I were looking at it, and we're kind of in the same spot. And we agreed that about 65% of the time, I think I can solve these battles without taking any damage. And this is only the second world, so I assume it's going to get more challenging as you go. There's no equipment. You kind of just have the basic hammer and the basic boots, but you can buy items to supplement those. So you can buy these shiny boots, and the shiny boots will do more damage, but they break after X number of uses. And it's fairly generous, 6 or 7 uses. So you have some slight kind of item usage here and there. There's of course mushrooms to recover HP. There's fire flowers to do like fire damage and AoE, 1-up mushrooms, stuff like that. I've read reviews talking about like some of the later boss battles, people actually like having to pause the game, draw the diagram out, and like try and map where you're going and stuff. And I could totally see it getting to that point.
Let's do it right there on the TV. Just get like a dry erase marker to probably
totally just
right
like yeah, it's also the one thing I guess I'm most surprised by is how funny it is.
It's really well written so far. Yeah.
It's extremely well written and well localized. Like, so a main part of the game is you're collecting toads. There are toads kind of strewn everywhere out through the world, and they're in little environmental puzzles. They can be as shallow as just like hit this tree with your hammer, or they can be like a little sort of like move the boulder over here, jump over there, and hit that guy. And every toad you pluck out of the ground or out of the walls or whatever, they all have like a joke about where they were, what they were doing, and it's honestly like not everything is hilarious, but I am just smiling reading everything. There's some fun fourth wall breaking stuff in there, which I think works because Paper Mario itself is a game that is very physical. Like it's playing a diorama. So, you know, there's no fourth wall to begin with. Like you meet some Koopa Troopas early on and they're watching kind of their like village get attacked and they're like, what do you want us to do? Walk at them slowly in a line? Like, it plays around with that stuff really well.
That's cool. Like, you know, people talk about how hard it is to do funny games, like comedy in games, but honestly, I feel like when Nintendo is firing on all cylinders, like their stuff is probably the funniest stuff out there.
Totally.
Like, some of the Mario and Luigi games, like the Kid Icarus for 3DS and stuff like that, like it's like kind of subtle, but I feel like when they're really on top of it, they're doing it better than just about anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me back to like, I think the Mario RPGs have always had good writing. And it reminds me back, like I was thinking about Super Mario RPG, just, you know, the genesis of all of this. And that game had a lot of just like fun, quirky humor, like all the stuff with Mallow, I thought was a great character. Bowser in these games is always really funny because he's always like, he's never the main villain. He's always kind of like second fiddle to whatever's going on. And so you get like that side of Bowser, which I really like, where he's just kind of a hapless goon who loves his troops and loves his people and hates Mario, but like has no real power, which is always fun.
So does it feel like an RPG to you? Like, is there XP? Like, are you raising levels at all? Like it almost sounds like a different kind of game than that.
It's totally a different kind of game than that. There's no XP, there's no levels. You get incremental upgrades as you beat bosses for more max HP. You'll gain the ability after you clear. So kind of each world, each area is set up in two chunks where kind of halfway through you fight something that they call a Vellumental. And these are like elemental bosses that will have some sort of like, the first one you fight is the Earth Vellumental. And once you beat it, you gain a thing that'll progress you into the second half of the level, some sort of power up. And then the second half of the level ends with one of those bosses that they showed off in the trailer. If you haven't watched that stuff and you want to play this game, I would say don't seek it out because I think finding out what those bosses are is kind of a delight. So you get like after you beat the halfway point, you'll get an upgrade where you can hit the enemies with a hammer, and instead of doing a full battle with them, you'll just wipe them out like that. So really what you're only doing battles for is there are some forced battles, you know, you just like turn a corner and there's enemies there that you have to fight, or you're getting coins. And the coins in this game, it was pretty great because like 20 minutes into the game, I had like 5,000 coins, which for a Mario game just felt wrong. I don't know, but the way they play around with them is really cool because you can spend coins on a lot of things. You can spend coins obviously on those items I was talking about, the upgrades and stuff like that. There are trinkets, which will be battle specific things like you have a larger window to defend. It has that active Mario RPG system where you're trying to hit A right when you're attacking or defending to do bonus damage. And you have trinkets that can supplement that stuff. But you can also spend coins in battle. You can use them to extend your timer. You can use them to throw to the toads in the audience. So all the toads that you're freeing in the overworld start showing up in stands around the battle and start cheering you on.
Oh, it's cute.
It's cute and it's great because like they get louder and louder the more you get. And you will like throw them a couple hundred coins and they'll just like come onto the battlefield and start attacking your enemies. They'll throw you hearts. They'll sometimes straight up give you like the solution to the puzzle if you give them enough coins.
I'm gonna cannibalize an email somebody wrote in this week just asking if that's basically straight up pay to win.
Yeah, it is in the good way. It is in that way where if you could actually buy coins in the game, it would feel gross, but you're just earning them fast and furious. I've never had a point where I've had like less than 10,000 coins once I've kind of gotten around that much. If you're doing all the battles, if you're exploring the environments, you're kind of finding coins really fast and loose.
Cool. And I'm glad to hear this game worked out. I was when they announced this, like my first reaction was like, "Oh, fucking awesome, a new Paper Mario," and then my second reaction was like, "This might be their last chance with me and this franchise after the last couple." So
not only that, I knew it was like a really short. Well, we have no idea how long it was in development for, but they announced it. And it's like, it's coming out really soon.
Yeah, it was like a month ago that they announced it.
Right.
Yeah, it's really. I'm surprised by how innovative they were willing to get with this game. I feel like they knew that they were kind of hitting the point of not no return, but kind of diminishing returns on these straight up just RPG style games. Like those are fine still, but then even in the later DS Mario RPG games, they kind of started to shy away from it a little bit. And I'm glad that they've kind of fully broken out into a completely new and unique style of battle that is challenging. Like those puzzles can get really tricky, but it's not punishing. You're not like, I've only died once in the game. There's plenty of like health. There's plenty of ways to, like I said, use coins to get through the harder battles. I could see it being a really big bummer if like I had to do the same just rotating puzzle so many times in a row, but they keep it fresh and varied enough. And with enemy types, like, okay, these enemies you can't jump on, or these enemies you have to hit first with the hammer and then jump on them. And the bosses are kind of a whole separate beast. Like they all have their own unique strategies, unique weak points. It kind of plays like a traditional Mario boss where you like want to do the same thing to it 3 times and then you'll get access to like a finishing move. It's really fun. Like it's just such a joy.
What's the dumb to smart ratio? Like, does it make you feel stupid? And then does it make you feel like really smart when you figure stuff out? Or
sometimes it makes you feel so stupid. They do a really cool thing where you unlock pretty early on a feature called like the Battle Trainer, where you go and you can play these sort of preset puzzles and you can take as long as you want with them. And you can just like, there's like 10 of them per tier, and there's, the different tiers get more challenging. So pretty early on, you can just like, if you find yourself struggling with it, you can just get in there and kind of look and watch, and they'll show you the solutions too if you give up, which is really nice. That was a big, doing that enough kind of got me over that I feel like a moron hump into now occasionally I'm like, oh, that was a solution. Okay, I don't feel super stupid, but I could see how they've kind of changed it up here.
Is there any like
I need to feel smart. I really do. I need that in me.
We need to feel a lot of things right now.
Yeah.
Is there any like time pressure on the battles? Is there anything that's really like forcing you to like be on top of it, or do you just get to kind of sit there and eyeball it for as long as you want?
Oh no, yeah, it's on a timer. It's on like a 20-second per round timer, I want to say initially, but fairly early on, you can pick up trinkets to increase that. You can spend coins just to straight up add to the timer. One of the cool things about this Paper Mario game is how accessible it is. They have a ton of accessibility options in there too, gated kind of through unlocks. So one of the early ones you get is an automatic bank. I forget what they call it, but it automatically, if your timer hits 0, you can set how many coins you want it to feed back into the timer. And you can do that once per round. So like if you just kind of like don't have your eye on the time because you're looking at the puzzle or whatever, and it hits 0, you can be like, okay, just take 500 coins, put it back in. That'll get you 15 more seconds automatically.
Yeah. How far did you say you were into it?
I'm at the kind of towards the end of the second world, second streamer.
Okay. Because the thing that I heard in discussions was that I'll ask you as a question, like, do you see like a path for the combat to continue to evolve, or do you reckon it's going to stay like this for the rest of the game? Like, is there avenues for it to mix things up?
I think where they would kind of, the path they would need to take is in the enemy variety and how you're dealing with those enemies as you encounter them, because it's truly like there is two things you can do on that board. You can rotate a ring or you can slide a ring. And I don't think that they are going to change that up. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like when they started rolling out like those enemies that are like, okay, the Koopa Troopers, you hit them with their hammer, it'll turn them into shell form, and then you jump on the shell and it'll launch them in a line. I think stuff like that will kind of be where the variety comes into play.
Cool.
Cool. Man, I'm
it's
glad.
just such a joy.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear they pulled it off. I think the world needed this right now.